we also have a game tonight a little bit later on, so I'm excited to see what the skill level in the pool is, and definitely excited to see these two teams go at it.
So after watching today's broadcast, feel free to follow Venom around and catch out his game later tonight. And we have the draft underway, and it looks like Purple Toast is going to be drafting for Radioactive Octopi, and HB Go Next is going to be drafting for Pandorum Gaming. HB Go Next, the 5th player that Pandorum Gaming was waiting on. So he rushed out of his car to his computer, sat down, and picked up the captain's spot on the Radiant team here.
5 seconds remaining.
It really benefits their team if he is their real captain to be doing the picks, because it's probably something that the other players aren't quite as used to.
Especially with a stand-in in place there, so they would have had, I'm going to guess, Just Incredible drafting for them. But right away the bans are coming out pretty quick. We have Queen of Pain and Undying banned out by the Dire. Queen of Pain, of course, one of the most popular mids in this current meta, and Undying just a huge nuisance to deal with overall. Same with the bans on the Radiant side, Gyrocopter and Leshrac, both hugely popular in this meta, especially for their ability to AoE and kind of put pressure on and really take the fight in the early team game synergies that are going on in this patch.
Yeah, and we definitely see the Undying ban into a more greedy lineup. I know the Bloodseeker likes to rotate from the lane into the jungle and free up that lane for
5 seconds remaining.
Farm. So the Undying ban is actually quite smart here in terms of having a little bit of a safer safe lane.
Radiant team pick.
And Bane being the first pickup for Pandorum Gaming. This is I'm going to guess a support Bane rather than a core, but I haven't seen him picked up much in the pro circuit. And doing my research on Pandorum Gaming here a little bit, I haven't seen many of their support players playing him on a regular basis recently. That's not to say, of course, that they can't. It's just that it hasn't been a frequent pickup in their history. So it'll be a new pickup for them, and it's going to definitely counter the Bloodseeker with Bane's ability to lock down heroes for quite a while, both allied heroes and enemy heroes.
It definitely seems like a little bit of a pocket strat versus the Bloodseeker. The Nightmare and Fiend Script offering your team great control, and when they go with the Keeper of the Light too, that Nightmare is an excellent setup for the Keeper of the Light Illuminate, so huge damage potential there from the two supports.
Radiant team ban.
Not to mention Keeper of the Light's blind, which is always good against those hard right-clicking carries in the late game, because it offers such a huge miss rate that it almost forces those right-click heroes such as Bloodseeker and PA to, even if the other team doesn't have an evasion item, go for that MKB item.
Bloodseeker could always just go for the BKB, but you don't want to be popping your BKB just because you've been, like...
just for a blind. Yeah. Especially those early 10-second charges on the BKB. And another good thing to point out is actually with Radioactive Octopi picking up Bloodseeker instead of Pandorum Gaming, that's almost a block pick by taking it away from Just Incredible, who's been playing quite a bit of Bloodseeker in his recent matchups.
Radiant team ban.
So it takes away one of the strengths of Pandorum Gaming and uses it against them.
I'm very curious to see what the mids will be for these two teams. Like, we've had Quap banned, we've had SF banned, we've had Lesh banned, and so we may have a little bit of an unconventional mid lane coming up for us here. And the Storm.
Radiant team pick.
The Disruptor pick for Octopi definitely is going to give them a lot of control in the team fight, and while like
10 seconds remaining.
I'm getting reports of a lot of echo here, so I will be trying to fix that. Sorry for the echo there, everyone. This is actually my first cast for the AD2L League, so still working on tweaking all the settings and everything, and Venom was nice enough to join me blind into this co-casting role without really helping me test and set up all the audio beforehand, so apologies for that. I think I've got it fixed now. I've taken some of his audio channels off, so we should just be getting one. Let me know if you continue to hear it in chat, and I will continue to tinker around with it. So sorry for the echo and reverb there. But in the meantime, the draft continues with bans on the dire side of Shadow Fiend and Sven, and Radiant blocking out Slark and Storm Spirit. I'm wondering if that Bloodseeker is going to be going mid, or if he's going to be played as an offlane hero.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dark Seer.
Dire team pick.
Clockwork.
Radiant team ban.
Yep, I don't think it was your open mic. I think it was something on my end.
10 seconds remaining.
5 seconds remaining.
Reserve time.
Dire team ban.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, well, they have Clockwork, they have Fissure, they have Disruptor, and his Glimpse, Fissure, and of course Clockwork's Hookshot are all those long-range abilities. And as you mentioned, Rupture kind of negates Darkseer's Surge, and on top of that, there's Bloodright on Bloodseeker, which is going to be able to provide that AoE silence against a Bane channel and a Keeper of the Light, who are both big channeling supports. So I'm with you right now. I'm definitely favoring
5
Radioactive
seconds
Octopi's draft with the Clockwork pickup. I do think we'll be seeing a Bloodseeker in the mid lane,
Reserve
unless they
time.
decide to throw him safe lane. But we'll see what their last pickup is. And Pandorum Gaming is looking to ban out that last hard carry, so they get rid of Anti-Mage, which is kind of good because they do have a lot of mana-dependent heroes here at the beginning. But I expect to see Bane pick up like a Soul Ring at the very least. I think that's the case, and then the question's going to be, who do Pandorum Gaming put in that mid slot? Because you have Queen of Pain banned out, you have Shadow Fiend banned out, you have Silencer banned out, you have Storm banned out, you have Lesh,
Team pick.
so that gets rid of a lot of mids, and they decide to go with a Bristleback, so I'm guessing it's going to be a core Bane in the mid lane? It could be a Bristle mid.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Reserve time.
With the Quill Spray in addition to Darkseer, because he's going to have the Surge, he's going to have the Ion Shell, he's going to have the Quill Spray and the Goo. But Bristleback in the mid lane, if they are expecting Bloodseeker to field that middle role, that's not a bad matchup, a Bristleback versus a Bloodseeker. I mean, both of them will just kind of be sitting there getting their farm and exchanging until 6 or so, and then they'll collapse to their team and see what they can do. Well, and there's the age-old, time-tested, kid-tested, mother-approved combination of Keeper of the Light and Phantom Lancer. That combo has been around for quite a while and always a pain to deal with. Yep, I can definitely see that. Now I think I've muted you all together. So go ahead and say something, and we'll see if the channel picks it up.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that I'm coming through Ventrilo and in-game. I'm not sure if you've muted co-broadcasters or not, because you could be hearing me in-game.
Yep, I did.
Okay.
So sorry again, everyone, for some of the audio difficulties here as we get set up. I promise I will get it right, and then we'll be good for the rest of the game. So just bear with me for a couple more minutes as I take your feedback and make some tweaks on my end and see if I can get it fixed. So during the pause here, or now that they've unpaused, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Radiant team. From left to right across the scoreboard, we have HB Gone Next playing on the Bane. We have Just Incredible playing the hard carry Phantom Lancer. And up in the top lane, we have Azareth on the Darkseer. Keeper of the Light making his way through the jungle right now on as Orfeo. PG Logic playing the Bristleback, looking to camp out this top rune here. And I'll throw it over to you for Radioactive Octopi.
Yeah, they've got the smoke coming on, so the introduction may have to wait as Meg loops around in behind the Keeper of the Light here. It could be 5v3 here. On our Bloodseeker,
30 seconds
we have Purple Toast playing.
Oh, they're pinging out, and
Magnus.
The smoke's been broken.
We got it.
Just Incredible's running here. Right now it's 4 versus 1. Just Incredible. He has not put a point into any skills yet. The Fissure's out, but it blocks his own team. And so the Fissure blocks out the entire Dire team, and it looks like Just Incredible is going to be getting out with minimal damage. Just the Fissure damage. The rest of the team decides to wrap up to that bottom rune. And that'll be a easy rune for them to pick up, but they didn't get what they were searching for, which was definitely that Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, no first blood for the side of Octopi. Finishing our introductions on the Magnus in the mid lane, we have a Flying Toaster. In the support role, we have Audacity on our Earthshaker. In the off lane, we have our Jabby on the Clockwork, and filling the last support role is Fight the Power, also known as Jokey on his Disruptor.
Yep, and it looks like now they're taking that failed smoke attempt and getting back to their laning positions. So in the mid, we're going to have that Bristleback in the mid, like we kind of thought that they would play that out that way, and their last pickup Magnus on Flying Toaster going up against them. Both characters already trading some damage back and forth. You have Shockwave coming out, and Logic just kind of spamming that Quill Spray even at level 1. He's got Clarity's rolling now, so he'll be able to do that for a while.
And Flying Toaster is wisely gone for the magic wand. He'll probably have it couriered out to him, though I don't actually see the courier for the Dire. Oh, there it is. But a big thing with that failed smoke is that Darkseer got like a full level because the opposing team wasn't in their safe lane. So he's pretty safe right now. He's got his Surge, he's going to get level 3 here, and he's definitely going to really kind of be able to get a lot out of this lane because of that smoke by the Dire. How's our feedback situation going?
That's what I'm checking in on. They're saying that they can't hear you at all, so they're just getting half of the conversation here as I talk to seemingly a wall. Oh, they're saying that they can hear you now. I take it back.
Okay.
So your audio is through. They're hearing you. Hopefully.
Just in time.
Yeah, they're saying, yeah, it's working. We aren't trolling you. So, of course, rule number 1 in my channel lobby is feel free to troll, but keep it fun. And, of course, that's already backfired, and I fell for it immediately.
My matriarch will prize.
Alright.
So, well played, chat.
Well played indeed. Yeah, we are seeing quite a passive game being played out right here, in terms of what's going on. But the Darkseer's experience has definitely picked up and is almost double the Clockwork's experience. So the supports of Octopi really needs to start getting in here and finding this Darkseer and bullying him out of lane before he gets too many levels, can bully the supports away.
Yep, and that's kind of what they're trying to do there. You had Earthshaker wrap around, but he just took so much damage from that Ion Shell and just a couple auto attacks from Darkseer, and his allies weren't in position to help him, so he had to kind of fall back to the tower. With nothing but a Ring of Protection, he's going to be regenning himself a little bit, and seeing if he can maybe get a Fissure Block. I'm not quite sure what he's doing here if he's not flying out the courier to himself. We have the bottle heading mid to Magnus, and I missed the rotation. Oh, it was just to place a ward in the mid lane by Disruptor, but it's already been pinged out. So you have Magnus, who picked up his bottle at the 4-minute mark just in time for that top rune, and Magnus has been able to pick up the runes very frequently. So he's going with the bottle now and rune control. He's going to be able to continue to put pressure on Bristleback, but Bristleback won that rune exchange. He picked up a bottle for himself and bottled up the regen rune. So he's going to be able to just empty the tank here with Quill Spray, stand in whatever shockwaves Magnus has to throw at him, and not really give a crap, because he'll be able to regen both his health and mana back to full. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we have Jabby playing Clockwork. He's level 4. He's been utilizing that power cogs to block off his creep wave back here behind the tier 1 and tier 2 tower. And that's pulled the creep wave to his tower, allowing him the safety to farm in under some protection. He's only got 2 last hits right now, but he's been getting the experience. So that's what counts, especially with a Bane there who's already put a point into Nightmare. They could have been able to lock him down and zone him out a bit more. Meanwhile, you have some rotations from Radioactive Octopi supports. Disruptor and Earthshaker moving to the bottom lane and drawing out on the map that they want to rotate around. And this would probably be a good call for them, because, let's take a look, the Radiant don't have vision until right there, so their jungle is completely open right now, and if this Keeper of the Light isn't careful, he'll be caught out for sure. But instead they rotate mid. They're smoked up, but Earthshaker was again a little bit too close, and so he popped the smoke first for the second time. but I don't think Bristleback's seen him. So they're doing some damage here. He's getting out of position, but he still does have that regen, which he'll pop now. Pick up the 6-minute rune, be full health, full mana, and now he sees the supports. Bane's rotated to the middle lane, and we might see first blood here. We have a 3-on-2 situation. Bristleback's just charging, and that... Oh, Bane was able to get the brain sap off, so that dropped Earthshaker. That's first blood, and now Dire's retreating. But Bristleback's surged. He has Ion Shell. He's closing ground. The Quill Sprays are beginning to stack up against Magnus. But an excellent glimpse by Disruptor is going to save his middle ally there and send him back. So it's a 1-for-0 exchange going the way of PG, and that draws first blood. Going the way of... Yep, Bane was the one who picked it off there. So, good start by them. Good rotations on both teams. It was a 3 versus 2. And now I'm getting caught up on some of the Twitch chat here.
Do it with flair.
So they're giving me some camera advice, which I definitely need to practice. Again, this is my first time casting a solo game. I've usually filled the role as the number 2 co-caster, but it'll do for now. I at least caught first blood, and that was the thing I was most worried about, is missing first blood, and I was able to capture that for you guys.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So back to the game here. We have the supports for Radioactive Octopi continuing to rotate around. But because of that, they're suffering in levels here. We have Disruptor teleporting from the rune to the tier 1 tower top, so I'm not quite sure what that's about. But Magnus has an Invis rune that he's sitting under. He pops RP with his level 6. Fissure comes out. It's 4 versus 1. And they're able to drop their hard carry. So, down goes the Phantom Lancer. We get some rotations. But the damage coming out of Radioactive Octopi right now is very high. So they almost drop Keeper of the Light. Bristleback rotates down. We still have 4 heroes, 5 heroes. Oh, down goes Disruptor to the Fissure, or excuse me. Bristleback's cleaning up Earthshaker there with his final Nasal Goose, keeping him slowed down, and the Quill Spray's going. I think he wants to go on Jabby, but yeah, Flying Toaster charges him with Skewer, and that drops him. Meanwhile, Phantom Lancer has respawned and has teleported back to the lane, and he's back in the fight. So now Dire back off. Overall, it's a 2-for-3 exchange. You get 2 supports and the Bloodseeker going down on the way of Radioactive Octopi, but you bring down the Bristleback and the Phantom Lancer, and the gold exchange is about even. A little bit XP in favor of Radioactive Octopi, but I think slowing down Phantom Lancer is going to be one of the biggest things there. And I think that was definitely their goal heading into that bot rotation. But meanwhile, the fights continue. Bane gets silenced up, and they're going on Justin again. And they're going to have enough to bring him down. So that is the second death in about a minute for Phantom Lancer. So that's going to definitely slow down his farm. He was able to shop a bit before he died there, it looks like. So he's got some of his agility items. He's going to start. So he probably didn't lose too much in way of gold there. Yeah, the chart's showing he lost 179. It's 533 pickup, with the bulk of that going to Earthshaker. But he still remains the leader in last hits, so his farm's not doing terrible. The Earthshaker gets his first kill. Let's see if he's... I think he'll probably be rushing Blink Dagger, if I were to guess. They do get the Nightmare off on Jabby, but there's a Disruptor right behind him, so they're not going to be able to dive that. Meanwhile, you have Flying Toaster in the mid, farming uncontested here. But in the top lane, the tier 1 for Radioactive Octopi bites the dust, and that Ion Shell's continuing to help push the Radiant Wave in. Earthshaker and Bloodseeker rotating to that top lane to see if they can't defend their tier 2. But already, Radiant are starting to rotate out of the lane, it looks like, and put pressure on some of these other towers. And slow down Flying Toaster's farm here. So Bristleback's back to his old games, throwing the nasal goo and the bristles around, stacking them up on Flying Toaster. He's going to eat a couple tower hits, but especially when he's not facing the tower, it's Bristleback. He doesn't care. 3 points into Bristleback already, so when his back is to enemies, it's a 32% damage reduction, and that's nothing when a tower's tickling him. Got 32% reduction. Also, he has a stout shield, so he's not taking much of anything from those towers.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, you have Darkseer man-moding against 2, both the Bloodseeker and the Earthshaker. Fissure's dropped. Bloodseeker's kind of dancing around that Ion Shell, trying to do damage without taking too much damage himself, seeing if he can get the regen, but after a short little dance, Darkseer decides he's out of here. He surges away. He's at 400 HP. He's going to regen a bit. He did pop the buckler, which gave him that additional armor with the regen aura. He's sitting at 8 health, but they do see him here. I think. Yeah, they see him kind of dipping in and out of the fog of war. So it's not the Bloodseeker's scent of blood. Is that what it's still called? Thirst. But they have wards down. Mid rotates up, gets a great skewer off, and that's going to be enough to drop him. Bloodseeker picking up the last hit there and getting the HP regen from it. Meanwhile, Flying Toaster returns to mid, and he continues to farm. So he's sitting at 39 last hits. Right above him is Bloodseeker, who's at 46 and climbing with this uncontested top lane that he's going to be able to farm here for a bit. And in the bot lane, continuing to lead the charts is Just Incredible, sitting at 64 last hits, so 15 above the Bloodseeker, and he's alone in this lane right now, but still there's no real pressure coming out against him. You have Disruptor poking him a little bit with Thunder Strikes, and the occasional Rocket Flare coming out from Clockwork, but nothing to kind of keep him on his heels too much. So he's farming as he wills. With Darkseer rotating to the bot lane to farm the jungle, he'll have an even greater sense of comfort because they have that ward there, and they are able to see some of the passerbys going into the jungle and rotating to the bottom lane, so he'll have a little bit to fall back and a surge to rely on as well. Meanwhile, the mid lane's kind of tripled up here on the Radiant side. You have the 2 supports backing the Bristleback, who's now taken over the free farm in the mid lane. Magnus is hoofing it back to base. He wasn't able to win control of the top rune that fight. Bristleback was able to get it, so he gets back to base, refills the bottle, and immediately teleports back, getting the quick shockwave off. And for those of you who are bad at Dota, myself included until a short time ago, the fountain effect lasts on you for a few seconds after you teleport, so getting off a nuke like shockwave as soon as you... And hold on, I'm gonna interrupt that education session, as there was a little bit of combat going on. So the Radiant side did smoke up and kind of rotate through the top rune, but they were spotted out by Magnus and Earthshaker. Earthshaker fissured, Dire disengaged, and they were safe to go from there. So as I was saying, when you first teleport, you have I believe it's a second or two where the fountain effect is still on you. So getting off a spell like Shockwave when you first land, if you do it right away, is essentially free, because the fountain regen will continue to stack on you. Magnus feeling a little jumpy. Bane stepped into tower range, and so Magnus immediately blinked back to base. Fight the Power gets a glimpse off on Logic on the Bristleback, pulls him into tower range, They're not able to drop the bristleback, but they do catch Bane in a reverse polarity, and he just explodes. So not the target they're looking for, but they do pick off one of the supports. Oh, and the skewer not enough to get him on the right side of the fissure, but Disruptor still controlling the pace of the fight here, gets him inside a kinetic field, but not long enough to drop him. So you have 4 of the 5 on both sides of the map fighting it out in the mid lane. Darkseer did drop his ultimate here, and one of the big changes for this last patch that's boosted Darkseer is his level 1 and level 2 ultimate now do last the entire 45-second duration, as opposed to before where it was scaled. Oh, Magnus blinks in behind Radiant, but he's immediately caught out by Bane, and he's not able to skewer, move, or do anything. So Bane drops the Fiend's Grip on him, and it's GG for the Magnus. He goes down, but in the bottom lane, the Cancer Lancer is continuing to do what he does, which is farm and push. So he's now picked up Boots of Travel is his next item, so he's going to be mobile. We'll see him probably use those to sprint back to the middle lane, where a fight's breaking out. Bristleback's just kind of running around here. He's not taking much damage at all, continuing to cast out Quill Sprays. They're stacking up. He's diving under towers, diving into 3 heroes, not taking much damage at all from it, and you'll probably see Clockwork go down here in 1 or 2 more clicks. They've circled around him. Magnus has had time to respawn. He still has Skewer up. The Fissure comes. He's trying to get ahead of him. Skewer's back, misses. And now Bristleback's heading back in. He's going to help the Phantom Lancer drop the Earthshaker. They're going to pick off the second support here in Disruptor, who's trying to get to the Roshan for the Roshan deny. But that's essentially a team wipe for Radioactive Octopi. Magnus died first after that quick reaction time from Bane caught him off on the blink, and then the other 4 died. So it's not going to show it here on the fight recap, but he was the first to go. Meanwhile, Bane died early on in that fight before he was able to get back in. Darkseer died, and still it's a huge win for PG. They take 1,600 gold and about 1,200 experience. And that adds to their already existing net worth lead, putting them at about 4K up. And they've been able to turn the tides back from an even match to in their favor on the experience. Meanwhile, this middle lane continues to be a bloodbath. So you have Fissure come out, you have Darkseer's ultimate, and it's kind of a battle right now between Darkseer and Clockwork, with Clockwork going down, but they were able to isolate Bristleback with that Fissure and drop him in the back lines. I wasn't able to catch that. A huge ultimate from Disruptor drops. I missed who that was. Darkseer, it looked like. Keeper of the Light goes down on the side of the Radiant. Bloodseeker's put into a Nightmare, and so he's going to be done for now. But he starts chasing after Just Incredible's Phantom Lancer. But he's running low on mana. He's got enough for 1 more Blood Right. PL's dancing around, he heads back in, and he picks off the support Disruptor. And now the Cancer Lancer has a ton of images out. He gets the Lance off, and that's enough to drop Bloodseeker as well. And now he's chasing Flying Toaster back into his base. He had the backup of Bane nearby, so he was feeling confident to make that turn, and it paid off for him, getting those 2 kills. Just a constant bloodbath. So there you have another 7 deaths, 4 on the side of the Dire, 3 on the side of the Radiant. Gold chart remains pretty much unchanged, XP remains pretty much unchanged, but that's a couple kills going the way of the Phantom Lancer, who would be happy to rebound after losing a couple lives early on in his lane. They've since taken a couple towers. The Dire is still working on doing any damage to the Radiant side towers. There's not much down. I mean, the middle tower's the worst for wear, and it's lost 350 HP, which is nothing. Meanwhile, all tier 1s on the Radiant side are down, so map control right now definitely on the side of Radiant, and you can tell by the warding. So checking out Radiant's vision here, they have some aggressive wards just out of range of the Dire's sentry wards. Sentry themselves, or excuse me, Dire themselves are having to place defensive wards. And pings coming out from Bristleback.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
But it looks like they're going to just be pushing and pressuring this tier 2 tower. Bane gets into position to kind of hold off anyone who's coming in. He again catches out Flying Toaster with his Fiend's Grip, and he's down before he can do anything. He gets a skewer off that time. Clockwork rotates in to try to provide some friendly cogs for his ally, but it's not going to be enough. The damage from Bristleback's Quill Spray right now is just stacking too quickly, and they're able to bring him down inside of Bane's ultimate, essentially. They all quickly rotate to the top lane, see if they can bring down this Bloodseeker, who's kind of trapped himself in a corner. He does get the Town Portal Scroll off, and it's going to be enough. There's no stuns on the PL or the Bristleback yet. Keeper wasn't in position to pop his ult and blind to knock him off course, so he gets out safely. Yes, for those of you asking about Venom, he did have to dip out. His game is apparently not getting started, but his team captain wanted to pull him into some early planning sessions and stuff like that, so Venom is no longer with us. Tier, he will be sorely missed, as my voice becomes hoarse as I stumble through words and clumsily control the camera back and forth here. Bristleback sitting under this tier 2 tower on the Dire side, just not caring. But now a fight's breaking out outside of the tower. Clockwork hooks in, catches the Keeper of the Light. A big RP on 3 this time, followed by Earthshaker's Echo Slam, and it brings down 3. They pick off 1 more, so that's a 4 for nil currently. They do get the glimpse off the Skewer, and that's going to be a full team wipe going the way of the Dire. And that's one of the big swings that they were looking for. That is a 55, nearly, yeah, it's a 6k gold swing and a 5k experience swing going the side of Radioactive Octopi, and that puts them right back in the game. You can see the sharp drop in experience there, and you're going to see not as sharp, but a start to a good recovery on the gold charts as well. As soon as they start bringing down some of these tier 1 towers, you're going to see that gold chart continue to fall. Just gold exploding all in the side of the Dire there. So it looks like overall the chart continues to update here. Big team wipe combined with the tier 1 tower. It's going to bring them close to even. Under 2,500 at the 25-minute mark. And they actually, for the first time in the game, take the lead in terms of experience. So those supports who were kind of struggling early on are starting to find their levels. Earthshaker himself, I didn't see how many levels he picked up, but landing that Echo Slam, which he might have been level 6 at the time because he's 9 now, and getting pretty much 3 kills had to have helped him immensely. In terms of last hits, Bloodseeker has started to take the lead on that as well. He's passed Phantom Lancer, who's been spending these past 5-10 minutes essentially team fighting with the rest of his team instead of farming as he was doing the first 15 minutes. Bloodseeker has picked up his Shadow Blade, so he's looping around, seeing if he can get in position behind the Radiant team here. Bristleback again is going for the dive here on Earthshaker, see if he can get a pick off before the Fissure comes out, but Fissure comes out, Phantom Lancer drops to the low ground, he's going to get the lance off and drop Earthshaker. Meanwhile, Bloodseeker circled around, he's picking off supports and the off lane on the side of the Dire. So we have 2 supports down on the Dire side. And if PL dies here, which it looks like he's going to... Oh, gotta get out of the way of the Bloodseeker there. An excellent doppelganger by PL, dodges the shockwave of Magnus, but being so low on health, Bloodseeker was gonna catch ya. Even with Magnus blocking him there for a bit, he was gonna get around him. He's a race car. He has probably max move speed at that point, and he'll catch up to you, doppelganger or not.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are
After those multiple team fights, I'm going to take a quick pause to grab a drink. So I don't completely run dry here. Alright.
Jackpot.
Earthshaker has still not saved up enough money for his Blink Dagger. He's working on it. He's finished off his Tranquil Boots and a Soul Ring. Disruptor on Ward Detail, it looks like, as well as the Arcane Boots. PL back to his home, back to the safe lane where he's farming up. He has been able to finish the Diffusal Blade. Bane, meanwhile, has been relegated to Ward Detail himself, by the looks of it. He's got Soul Ring, and he's been landing some excellent Fiend's Grips on that Magnus. The first 2 or 3 of which probably saved their team fights, and what gave them that very critical early lead. You have both supports teleporting on the side of the Dire. Audacity and Fight the Power rotating in, seeing if they can catch out this Phantom Lancer. Rocket Flare comes off, but they're not in position to catch the glimpse, and the fissure just wasn't long enough to get him. So Bane rotating over to make sure he got out safely, and he certainly did. So he got out, burned a couple teleports, and then he's right back into the jungle, farming up, seeing if he can close that gap again against Bloodseeker.
Rock it on.
Clockwork continuing to use Rocket Flare to scout out and kind of provide some additional lane support and lane control, pushing back this top lane so their tier 2 doesn't take too much damage. It's already sitting at half health. And Ion Shell pushing in the middle lane. So even with the tier 1 dropped in the top lane, the Radiant seem to be able to continuously pressure Dire. The scoreboard's relatively even though, it's 17-19. After the big team fight by Radioactive Octopi, they definitely brought this game back into a winnable situation. I think if they had lost 1 or 2 more big team fights like they had been, it would be a very difficult uphill battle for them, but they were able to close that gap with a big 5-man team wipe, not losing anyone, and get themselves back in it. So yeah, the Ion Shells continuing to push out the mid lane. Darkseer pinging out the map a little bit here. Not sure as what he was indicating. Got another follower, Nat Epic. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. And I missed the tier 2 falling in the bot lane. Gold chart is essentially 0 at the 30-minute mark. XP, a little bit in favor of Dire, who all group up. They 5-man smoke, but it's right under a Radiant Ward. So they head into Roche, but they've been seen. They've been spotted out. So now it's PG. Do they think that they were smoking to aggressively gank, or do they think that they were smoking to Roche? But at this point, watching Earthshaker kind of pace around and protect that Roche pit, they know. Darkseer rushes in, does not get caught out by the kinetic field though, so kinetic field's going to be on cooldown here for another 4 or 5 seconds. Keeper of the Light blasts the Dire. Darkseer gets his ult off, his wall. Flying Toaster blinks in, drops his RP, catches 2, but everyone on the Dire side is so weak that they're just falling. He has no damage to back him up after that RP, and it's a 5-man team wipe going in the opposite direction. Pandorum Gaming not only getting the 5-man team wipe, but getting an easy pick-off on the Aegis. Phantom Lancer picks it up, and now He has Manta, Diffusal Blade, Aegis, Boots of Travel. He is going to be Visa. Everywhere you want to be. But, first horrible joke of the stream. Enjoy. And with that horrible joke, they're going to take their aggression out on the tier 3 tower in the bot lane, dropping it to half. Earthshaker throwing out a fissure, seeing if he can slow him down, but they respond by throwing a lance, dropping him to half, and killing his entire mana pool, essentially. So they are able to drop the tier 3 tower, and it looks like they are going to back. They're going to call that a victory. They took the tower, they took the team wipe, they took the Roche, and they're gone. A little old man keeper of the Light Blast. Wipe out one last wave of creeps. And that's actually going to move a catapult wave in.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Pillaging.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, yeah, Bristleback diving deep. I missed all the action going on top lane, but top lane tier 3 tower went down as well. So, lots of lane aggression from Pandorum Gaming right now. They're fully utilizing the map control that they have and pressuring these towers. They're moving as 5, and that Roshan fight, catching all 5 of them out, was definitely a tough hit for Radioactive Octopi, who had brought the game back in their favor with the previous team fight, but kind of handed back control to Radiant by not only telegraphing that they were in Roche, but the unfortunate smoke under the aggressive Radiant ward. Getting caught out like that is never a good thing. Once they saw the hard defense coming in, they should have seen if they could get out of the Roche pit, reset, and try it again later, maybe after a pickoff or two. Keeper of the Light, casting Illuminate non-stop, blasting those waves back, keeping pressure on what appears to be all the lanes. Every time I check, I see all 3 of the wave equilibriums sitting on the Dire side. And that's giving space to the Radiant to farm the Dire jungle, which PL has been doing quite well so far. But it also gives them rune control. Any runes that spawn, they're picking up freely. They don't have any wards down to see them, but they know they're relatively uncontested because Dire are trapped in kind of a small section. They only have vision of that much, and then what's going on down there in that middle lane. So they have to stay clumped together because Pandorum Gaming has been moving as 5 for the past 10-15 minutes or so at least, and they know they can't afford to have any of their big hitters picked off. There you see PL throwing out a lance trying to catch Earthshaker, who immediately blinks back to safety and the comfort of the rest of his team, who are all clumped as 5. But as they do that, you have the Radiant, who are pretty spread out right now. You have Bristleback farming. You have Darkseer farming the jungle. You had Phantom Lancer farming the top lane, but being all spread out, there's no one there to keep him from both giving up the Aegis and then dying. Pretty much every spell in the book used to drop him, but killing him alone yields about a 2,000 gold exchange in favor of the Dire and another 2,000 experience. So it kills the Aegis, it drops the hard carry, but there's a fight going on in the bot lane. Darkseer drops his ult, Earthshaker blinks in, gets a huge Echo Slam. He's able to do damage to the Bristleback, but not nearly enough. He's sitting at half health, and now he's chasing. He's sitting on the Magnus, just ignoring pretty much everything, gooing and bristling. Darkseer picks up a ultra kill, but I think it was those quill sprays tenderizing the meat of the Dire team that really did him in. And GG is called by Radioactive Octopi.
Dyer's bottom barracks.
And that is going to be game 1, going the way of Pandorum Gaming. They kind of got an early lead. They kept pressure on all the lanes from the start, didn't take a lot of tower damage, and then they really exploited their control over the map later on in the game. So, well played by Pandorum Gaming.